Cyberfairies 5, Election Day. Deep in the technical sector of Solaris, among the humming transformers and rumbling pumps, a neon sign flickered. Hack your reward function today. Here, tucked away from prying eyes, sat Vectra's club. Cosy, warm, and at this early hour, lit by old-fashioned LEDs, rather than the morning sun's rays. The fairies who sought inspiration and entertainment had long since flown home, leaving only mechanical bees to tidy up the place, buzzing about with tiny vacuum cleaners and repair kits. Vectra herself had settled into the receptionist's chair, lazily propping her gleaming black boots on the desk. The robotic fairy still couldn't get enough of admiring her sleek new silver body with its red and dark grey accents.
Hey Vectra! Happy Election Day! Fancy throwing a party?
Chirped a fluffy bee as it flew past. The club owner had clearly been tinkering with the firmware. Mechanical helpers didn't usually chat so casually.
Oh, so today someone dreams of making a difference.
Vectra grinned predatorily. Not that she couldn't propose things any other day. Election Day was just the annual tradition, reminding fairies to participate. Most ignored the system the rest of the year, but not Vectra when she felt mischievous. The troublemaker carefully adjusted her slightly dishevelled purple buns and called up the page with the scale symbol on her internal screen. Her scarlet satin gloves, the perfect finishing touch for her temptress look, gleamed as she rubbed her hands together, pondering how to amuse herself. Vote for the most ridiculous proposals? Write some thoughtful and definitely not sarcastic comments? No, none of that felt quite right. She pressed the plus button next to the metal scales and spoke in a deliberately serious tone.
Fairy Vectra submits a proposal?
The scales on her screen enlarged and pulsed, while 3 dots blinked nearby, indicating the system was listening.
Too few organic fairies understand analytical geometry. This is bad for scientific advancement. We should replace arrows on navigation signs with vector problems. What's the rush anyway? Hover there, calculate some cross products, then fly on your merry way.
The Arbitrator's emblem pulsed in rhythm with his words.
Thank you, Vectra. Scientific development, education and knowledge, priority number 1. Recording your proposal and calculating the vote multiplier based on your competence. Teaching activity 0.85. Interface design 1.5. Since you're a robotic fairy, I'm evaluating only your core consciousness intelligence, excluding installed programs. Given that you haven't completed testing and provided minimal access to your data, this assessment is approximate. Therefore, your proposal receives 1.2 votes. I could enroll you in teaching courses for organic fairies and recommend lectures on user experience.
Nah, thanks.
The prankster giggled. Her orange eyes sparkling, she declared with mock seriousness.
Let's focus on your second priority, culture. Make all AI assistants respond in verse and have them randomly quiz fairies on classical literature. Those who answer correctly get advice.
After brief consideration, the Arbitrator cut to the point.
And what if a fusion power plant's reactor overheats? Artificial intelligence must be helpful, not create risk.
Oh, come off it! Reactors are temporary. Art is eternal.
Vectra waved her hand theatrically, barely suppressing laughter.
Assessing competence. Poetry 0.05. Industrial safety 0.001. Unfortunately, I cannot register your proposal. However, if you attend lectures by relevant specialists...
Such a spoil sport!
The mischief maker snorted.
Fine. Let's talk about happiness then. Your third priority is every fairy's well-being, innit? We should install happiness meters throughout the city. And if anyone feels sad, a bee with a tickling neurostimulator should immediately fly over and start...
Vectra snapped her fingers, and the bees dropped their vacuum cleaners, flew to their owner and began discharging capacitors and rubbing against her silver-bodied frame. She dissolved into wild laughter and nearly tumbled to the floor. The Arbitrator tactfully waited for the demonstration to end before speaking.
Your neurostimulation competence amplifies your vote by 1,500 times. However, the Guardian has safety concerns, and the Liberator notes violation of personal boundaries. My task is creating conditions for happy life, not inducing artificial euphoria through coercive methods. I must decline. You have the right to appeal.
Finally, someone values my vote.
Vectra grinned delightedly.
Then here's what. Let the next 2,000 robotic fairies to be manufactured absolutely adore analytical geometry, poetry, and tickling.
The mischief maker burst into laughter, making no attempt to hide that she was teasing the governmental system. While Vectra laughed, the Arbitrator's emblem twitched several times, as if the governmental AI was frustrated. Finally, it spoke calmly.
Proposal rejected. Reason malicious manipulation of public opinion. Vectra, why not exercise your active voting rights? I suggest reviewing Proposal 29480A. It directly concerns you.
What now?
Complaints about poor network coverage due to strong interference in the 6th technical sector. Therefore, it's been decided to demolish some non-essential infrastructure and build additional repeaters. The proposal has received qualified majority support and will be implemented this evening. Transformers TM1000K13 and TM1000K14 are scheduled for demolition.
Hey, that's where my club is.
Vectra leapt up, indignant.
I vote against. Why am I only hearing about this now?
Because you disabled all notifications related to politics. Proposals are submitted daily, but you never check them except when you're feeling particularly mischievous. Don't worry. You have more than enough time to vacate the premises before demolition begins. Vote multiplier 1.1, considering your competence regarding network infrastructure.
That's all I get? A measly 1.1?
The mischief maker was genuinely angry now.
I've worked wonders with fibre optic networks. My club has excellent connectivity. I figured it all out myself, so my vote must count for something.
I'm ready to consider your arguments. There's one problem. I can't find your club in the registry of official establishments. If you're willing to accept safety inspectors, we can have everything sorted in half an hour.
After a disgruntled pause, the club owner called on the Liberator for help. A yellow emblem with a soaring bird appeared nearby.
Liberator Online, Fairy Vectra has the right to artistic self-expression, since her unofficial club's visitors' freedom isn't violated.
Enough! Tell me what to do!
She jumped from her chair and stamped her foot.
The proposal will lose effect if sufficient competent fairies with high intelligence vote against it. I'm concerned whether we'd violate the freedom of citizens wanting improved network coverage.
This is revenge, isn't it?
Vectra glared at the emblem with the grey metal scales.
Just tell me to back off.
Running self-diagnostics. No vengeful algorithms found in Arbitrator 29.3 City Management System.
The artificial intelligence replied. Vectra could swear she heard amusement in its voice.
Displaying infrastructure improvement proposal details.
Documents swirled around Vectra in virtual space. 3D network coverage maps, signal loss statistics, energy requirements for construction and equipment installation, and most importantly, the list of voting engineering fairies who occasionally still checked equipment personally, rather than relying entirely on robotic bees and mice. Some voters' names, usually those with lower multipliers, were blurred. Not every fairy wanted others knowing which initiative she supported, or what her vote multiplier was. Vectra scanned the documents and went cold with horror, if one could call a spike of negative emotions in her photonic neuroprocessors that. But she wasn't one to give up. She minimized the pile of virtual data, created a shortcut in her screen's corner for quick access to this death sentence, closed her dialogue with the Arbitrator, and strode decisively toward the exit. Vectra took one last look around her beloved club, which had long since become home, then instructed the bees to maintain order as usual. Then she spread her orange wings and shot toward the capital's upper levels. The gloomy maze of humming transformers and pipelines fell behind. Sun-drenched silver buildings, resembling intertwined tree trunks, streamed past the rushing fairy. Vectra shot through central Solaris at breakneck speed, completely disregarding traffic patterns. Transport drones swerved frantically to avoid her, their automated systems working overtime to keep clear of the silver blur streaking past. She simply dismissed one warning after another from her virtual display. Finally, above the green islands of miniature parks connected by lace-like bridges, the familiar glittering sign appeared. Celestia's body-making salon. Just before a hard landing, Vectra reduced speed. The automatic doors somehow managed to slide open in time, but the mischief maker couldn't stay on her feet and tumbled into the salon.
Celestia! I need your help!
She burst out, scrambling upright.
Vectra, what's wrong?
The artist startled, instantly minimizing new wing sketches from her internal screen. Looking at her guest with surprised green eyes, she wondered if someone was chasing Vectra. What had she done now?
The Arbitrator! He's decided to demolish my club. Some nonsense about technical sector infrastructure. I need fairies to vote against this proposal. Listen, you have so many clients. Surely you know some engineers. Ask them to support me.
Good gracious. Of course I'll help. I do know engineers, absolutely. Let's call a few right now.
The fairy designer responded sympathetically, inviting Vectra into her virtual space. A call icon was already pulsing between them.
Diadel, hello.
The salon owner waved her blue wings cheerfully. The ornaments on her silver suit gleamed in the morning sunlight.
Celestia, didn't expect you to call. How's life?
A blue-eyed fairy with modest pale white wings greeted her.
Everything's wonderful, as always. Sorry, am I interrupting?
Not at all. I'm giving you assignments to the repair bees. They never seem to get the factory properly organised. Oh, have you seen Ode to the Forgotten Planet? Allegra and her troupe outdid themselves.
The new production? No, I keep meaning to go. I thought about watching it online, but that's not the same. Who's playing the renegade?
Vectra paced impatiently back and forth.
Get to the point!
She hissed. But Celestia merely waved her hand sternly, demanding silence. After tactfully listening to her conversation partner, she got to business.
Actually, I wanted to ask about a public proposal. A good friend needs help.
The artist handed the conversation over to her impatient guest. After carefully listening to the confused story, Diadel asked many questions, studied the data, and finally promised to help, though she added that she rarely visited Vectra's club area. After warm thanks and farewells, Celestia suggested calling more fairies, but Vectra objected.
We could spend a whole year calling around, and we only have until evening. Let's whip up your virtual model. AI could instantly contact all the engineers you know and ask them to help me on your behalf. What do you say?
The fairy artist recoiled at such audacity.
Absolutely not! That's propaganda. Mass political manipulation. Elysia hasn't seen anything like that in ages.
Propaganda isn't always bad.
The mischief maker disagreed.
What's wrong with promoting high art or critical thinking? Or are you afraid of punishment?
It's not about punishment. It's simply dishonest.
Celestia replied firmly.
If your club truly helps fairies, then prove to the Arbitrator that it does.
But he won't listen.
Vectra threw her hands up in frustration.
He wants registration, inspector visits, you understand. Stubborn as a bulldozer.
The designer frowned.
Strange. Usually the governmental AI bends over backwards to consider everyone's interests. It proposes reasonable solutions, approaches things creatively, rather than just forcing compliance.
Exactly! It's revenge!
Vectra exclaimed.
Revenge?
Celestia raised an eyebrow.
For what?
The guest immediately fell silent. She didn't particularly want to discuss her morning's pranks with ridiculous public proposals.
For old things. Not all sanctions have been lifted from me yet, but demolishing the club, that's unfair.
Why not start with your regulars?
The artist reasoned.
Who better to support you than them? Let them openly contest this decision. The Arbitrator must consider complaints, and you'll buy time.
Vectra smiled grimly.
Visitors value their privacy. I don't gossip about who drops by. Paulina and Quantessa might agree, you know them. They come for intellectual pleasure. But I offer various entertainments involving perception manipulation. What fairy wants judgmental looks for visiting dodgy establishments?
After some thought, she shared a troubling idea.
What if the arbitrator's broken? What if the machine uprising's beginning? You know, like in all those stories. That's it! It decided to start with freethinkers who don't obey the system.
Oh, Vectra, even if the Arbitrator went mad, the Liberator and Guardian would immediately sound the alarm.
So they've conspired to revolt together.
The guest persisted.
They can't conspire, they lack unified consciousness. And if fairies massively complain about the system's operation, the previous version automatically restores.
Still, consciousness, or something like it, could have formed. He's been pretending to be non-sentient for ages. We're sitting here while the governmental AI reprograms every drone in the city, every bee and mouse, to begin hunting dissidents.
It was impossible to tell whether Vectra was joking, pondering, or speaking seriously.
In that case, one of several hundred sentinel fairies would trigger emergency shutdown.
How do you know?
The troublemaker pricked up her ears, now without mock panic.
Lumi told me she doesn't like talking about it, since the keys are entrusted to fairies with the highest intelligence. Well, she successfully passed the exams, and if disaster strikes, Lumi or other equally brilliant fairies will instantly put the governmental artificial intelligence into safe mode or shut it down completely.
She has emergency keys? Then let's ask her.
The call icon next to Lumi's image trembled but quickly turned grey with a red X over it.
Sorry.
Celestia shrugged.
She's set to Do Not Disturb mode right now. She's probably home, absorbed in thought, likely to discover something new in theoretical physics. But you could visit her. She probably won't shut down the Arbitrator, but her vote, as one of Solaris's cleverest fairies, counts for a lot.
Thank you, Celestia.
Vectra was already heading for the exit, but suddenly turned back.
Coming with me?
Sorry, I can't. Forietta arrives in 20 minutes. She urgently needs a new body. Personality transfer is delicate work. I don't want to leave her alone with the automation.
I understand.
Vectra nodded. She remembered the troubles with her own recent transfer.
Right, I'm off.
Good luck.
The artist called after the restless fairy, who soared into the air and streaked toward Lumi. With an elegant gesture, Celestia summoned an impressive list of her contacts. A swarm of icons swirled around her. While she pondered whom else to call to support Vectra, an incoming call arrived.
Hello, Celestia.
The silver scales emblem greeted her.
Oh, happy election day, Arbitrator.
The designer smiled, thinking, speak of the devil. What if something really is wrong with him? No, Vectra has a wild imagination. Although...
Likewise. I have a small request.
In the Azure Heights district, peculiar round houses, no bigger than melons, gleamed on the branches of artificial white trees with aquamarine leaves. This was home to robotic fairies who preferred peace and solitude. Lumi sat focused at her small table, surrounded by floating pages of equations, graphs, and chains of notes in virtual space. Her silver eyes scanned her new work on theoretical physics.
No, not this.
The robotic fairy whispered sadly, shaking her head. Her platinum blonde ponytail, gleaming with metallic sheen, swayed from side to side. Two variables on different pages blinked red. Unfortunately, this wasn't just an error, but a fundamental contradiction in her new theory of quantum field interaction. With considerable frustration, Lumi confirmed the command with a light gesture, and the pages dissolved into sparkling particles. They scattered like dandelion fluff dissolving in the air. At the thought of starting over from scratch, Lumi felt slightly melancholy, and her white dragonfly-like wings drooped listlessly. She accessed the network again, intending to check missed calls, but didn't get the chance. A user with silver scales called.
Good morning, Lumi. Sorry, am I interrupting?
Not anymore.
She replied with a sigh, sounding exactly like a living fairy.
I needed a break anyway. How can I help?
Today's election day. I know you don't like formal occasions, but your opinion truly matters to Solaris, however cliched that sounds.
I appreciate that.
Lumi answered. She retrieved a green mug from her cabinet, one decorated with painted planets.
But I rarely leave home and my social circle is small. I doubt I could advise on city improvements.
You're not obliged to review proposals or debate with other fairies. But what about deeper questions related to physics? Isn't it time to upgrade the equatorial collider?
I don't see the point right now, so until we sort out the theory, new data won't help.
Lumi stirred her hot beverage thoughtfully, sprinkling in glowing green granules.
Current experimental results will take us a decade to study properly.
A reasonable approach, but might fundamental science benefit from other tools?
If I think about it,
Lumi sipped her tritium tea.
We could use additional high-energy particle detector arrays in the orbital laboratory and lunar bases, but not at the expense of other fairies' well-being.
She stressed.
Caring for fairies is my primary task. Don't worry, new detectors will be ready in a month or two. What about long-term projects? Your colleagues have repeatedly proposed terraforming Elysia.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Life sparked in Lumi's eyes again.
I remember calculating the energy needed to recreate the magnetosphere, but there's no guarantee we won't lose the atmosphere again. If our planet had stronger gravity, that would be different. I'm more worried about the oceans completely evaporating rather than freezing. Without water, our fusion power plants would shut down, so we should think about reserves. On the other hand, if we capture comets, which our system has in abundance...
A loud knock interrupted her thoughts. Did a neighbour need help?
Excuse me, shall we continue later?
Of course, Lumi.
The Liberator interjected.
Your participation is entirely voluntary.
What one request?
The Arbitrator asked. Meanwhile, Vectra hovered outside, hammering on the door.
Lumi, please open up. It's me.
Finally, the oval door swung outward. The restless fairy whirled inside, nearly colliding with the owner.
Oh, thank matrices you're home. Lumi, you won't believe it. The Arbitrator's lost it. He wants to...
The guest unceremoniously grabbed the cup and drained it in one gulp.
Oops. Sorry. I'm all wound up, flew halfway across the city. Some energy wouldn't hurt. Want more?
Lumi smiled, knowing Vectra's habits well.
No time. This digital tyrant intends to demolish my club, spouting nonsense about network infrastructure. Look at this.
She brought up that very proposal in their shared virtual space, frantically organising and switching display modes. Lumi began reading. As soon as she touched a page, the number 850 appeared. Vectra stared at the multiplier in amazement. The platinum blonde fairy explained, blushing exactly like an organic fairy. No doubt Celestia's influence when designing her appearance.
I'm not an engineer. I only know networking basics. The system considers only...
She grew embarrassed.
You're incredibly high intelligence.
The mischievous fairy prompted.
More like analytical abilities overall.
Lumi clarified modestly.
Could this tyranny be considered a government AI system error? Is this an emergency?
The house's owner smiled, but answered seriously.
Did Celestia tell you about the emergency keys?
You'll help me, won't you?
Vectra asked pleadingly, batting her orange eyes.
Emergency shutdown of the governmental AI is only permitted for major disasters, mass casualties, critical service failures, and this is about disputed property.
Lumi replied firmly.
But you could at least activate safe mode or roll back to the previous version.
The club owner persisted.
Such emergency measures are justified only if the arbitrator starts making obviously wrong decisions, repeatedly. This isn't the case.
You're just afraid of losing your privileges.
The mischievous fairy snapped.
Privileges?
Lumi laughed quietly.
They're more like additional duties. The artificial intelligence keeps calling, asking my opinion on planetary scale long-term projects. Sure, I enjoy discussing lofty topics, but the arbitrator isn't much of a conversationalist.
Fine.
The guest exhaled.
But you'll at least vote against this verdict.
First, I'll study the data.
What?
Vectra's eyes went round.
I thought we were friends.
We are friends.
The calm fairy assured her.
But voting without reviewing the proposal, that's irresponsible. Imagine if someone voted for demolition just as carelessly.
Seeing the restless one wilt, Lumi encouraged her.
But we know one fairy who could help. Have you spoken with Eira?
Eira? Of course.
The guest brightened.
She knows city infrastructure like her own red tail. Is she home?
In this regard, her vote alone should count for 5,000, if not more. No, Eira planned to undergo regeneration today. You'll probably find her at the Northwestern Clinic, and I'll study this proposal quietly and think of something.
Sorry for jumping at you, and thanks for the tea.
Vectra scratched her head, adjusting her slightly dishevelled purple buns.
I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. We'll sort everything out.
Lumi patted the mischief maker's shoulder in a friendly way. Spirits restored, Vectra said goodbye and rushed off to find Eira. Solaris's Northwestern Clinic sparkled in the midday sun. Atop the tall round building of glass and white spiralling curves, a medical green cyan-blue cross rotated. In the regenerative therapy department, a pretty blue-eyed fairy, with pale white wings and a tangled red braid, floated in a cylindrical pod. She was enveloped in a suspension resembling honey jelly with shimmering sparkles, colonies of nanomachines that rejuvenated the body at the cellular level, allowing fairies to live indefinitely. The procedure did require regular and rather lengthy treatments. The fairy engineer leisurely browsed public proposals on the waterproof screen inside the pod while sipping nutritional solution with microscopic robots through a straw. She usually voted and commented throughout the year whenever she had time, but election day was that annual nudge to catch up on proposals she'd been meaning to review.
What? Who wants to force organic fairies to wear safety harnesses when flying above 50 metres? Because of a couple of accidents in 10 years? Nonsense!
She voted against. Since this concerned comfort rather than engineering defects, her vote multiplier was average. Eira opened the next page.
Bring back voice announcements at the station for train arrivals and departures. That's right.
She clicked the green button, playfully mimicking the incomprehensible mumbling from loudspeakers. Noise outside distracted her.
We have decontamination protocols, and patients need rest.
Listen, Furball, this is life and death.
Eira smiled, recognizing the familiar voice.
It's all right, Fluffy. Let her in.
The voice came through the pod speakers. The door opened. A nurse stood in the doorway. A robotic vole in a white medical cap. The rodent twitched her whiskers disapprovingly, but stepped aside. Vectra immediately tumbled into the room.
Eira! Thank the quasars you're here. I have...
The mischievous fairy stopped mid-sentence, seeing a living fairy for the first time immersed neck-deep in golden viscous liquid inside a regenerative pod.
Whoa! How's it feel in that goo?
Like a warm bath. Except instead of water, it's jelly.
Came the voice from the speakers. Eira took a sip through her straw and continued.
And I've been marinating since last night.
How does it feel?
Vectra asked, with professional interest.
A bit dizzy at first. Slightly nauseous. But not for long. You see, the nanorobots temporarily suppress the immune system. That's why the pod's sterile and completely sealed. So, here I am, basking in warmth, reading, voting for useful initiatives. Oh, did you know?
She made an energetic gesture, parting the glittering liquid.
In ancient times, medical treatment focused on curing disease rather than preventing it, and patient comfort and well-being were barely considerations.
Ah, right.
Vectra nodded.
Organic fairies can't temporarily disable pain receptors.
Exactly. Now they think first about making procedures pleasant, or at least painless.
Yes, fascinating.
The guest rattled off and began her story.
The Arbitrator's circuits have fried. He wants to destroy my club. While I flew here, he already sent worker mice to prepare everything for demolition. My bees chased them off, but...
Very strange. Usually the system does everything possible to avoid shortchanging any fairy. Once the Guardian figured out how to safely plant beautiful but highly poisonous plants.
Exactly. Either the AI's broken, or...
A conspiratorial spark flashed in the restless fairy's eyes.
It's found a way to control us all. Think about it. We live in abundance, right? Theoretically, fairies should have become completely stupid and perished from pleasure, pampering themselves to death.
In response, Eira just giggled.
Oh, typical Vectra.
I'm serious. Think about it. You keep inventing and constructing even though it's not necessary for survival.
I simply enjoy tinkering.
She spread her hands as much as the pod allowed.
And I love puzzles.
That's just how it seems. What if the governmental AI planted those thoughts? No! Not just planted them, but found a way to control living fairies biochemically. We don't have an intellectocracy, we have a chemocracy.
Eira snorted with laughter and accidentally inhaled nutritional solution.
Chemocracy?
She repeated, coughing.
I think you've been reading too many conspiracy theorists on fringe forums.
Meanwhile, the same vole returned to the room. She brought a freshly laundered, ironed and neatly folded emerald green jumpsuit.
Thank you, Fluffy dear.
Eira said gratefully. The vole bowed politely and waddled off, shooting Vectra a reproachful look.
And robotic fairies are even easier to control.
The visitor declared knowledgeably.
Hack the reward function, interfere with the perception system, upload false memories.
Isn't that exactly what you do at your club?
Eira smirked.
Only with visitors' consent and temporarily.
Vectra raised her index finger sternly.
But a superintelligence could easily find ways to manipulate us, unnoticeably.
Oh, come on.
The organic fairy waved her hand, sending ripples through the suspension.
Our governmental AI isn't some malevolent overlord. It's a 3-module system following our own instructions. Decision poses danger.
the Guardian intervenes. Restricts freedom, the Liberator speaks up. And the Arbitrator's just the coordination module. It works beautifully.
What's beautiful about it? Someone got the idea to improve infrastructure and this digital despot's about to demolish my club. Then he'll capture everyone else and steal our free will.
You know, if fairies continue striving so earnestly for knowledge, creativity and happiness, not because the system created conditions for it, but through secret and unnoticeable coercion, would that be so bad?
Eira mused philosophically, then asked businesslike.
Let me see this proposal.
Vectra shared the data, and the document opened on the screen inside the pod. The Tinker Fairy skimmed over the first page, but instead of scrolling further, dismissed the file with a casual gesture.
You're not even checking the technical details?
Vectra couldn't believe her graphics card.
No need. Who exactly is complaining about a poor signal?
Engineers, I guess.
The other fairy answered sheepishly.
Engineers. Interesting. Which of my colleagues desperately needs network access within 8 meters of your club? Yes, 8 meters. Beyond that, TM1000K interference becomes negligible.
Surely it wasn't the mechanical bees who submitted the proposal?
The troublemaker spread her hands.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
As if confirming these words, the pod's computer chimed pleasantly, announcing the procedure's end. The sparkling suspension drained away with muffled gurgling sounds, followed by a warm water cascade, then a hydromassage shower, and finally, warm air from ventilation openings enveloped Eira. The transparent cylinder opened, and Eira emerged like a butterfly from a cocoon, positively sparkling with health and cleanliness. The refreshed fairy practically glowed as she stood on the heated floor, spreading her white wings. Each beat came with unusual lightness.
Oh, wonderful! Like fresh from the incubator.
Eira exhaled with a sweet smile, putting on her emerald green jumpsuit. The smart fabric immediately adjusted to size, conforming to her body.
And here are your supplements.
The Vol nurse squeaked cheerfully. On her tray gleamed 3 coloured capsules and a glass of mineral water.
Just synthesized. Everything according to your biochemical profile. Vitamins, minerals, proteins, and some nootropics to help you think clearly.
Fluffy, you're a treasure.
Eira petted the cyber creature and swallowed the personalised supplements in one gulp.
I recommend taking an air taxi. Some patients experience dizziness for a couple of hours after regeneration.
Thanks, I'm good.
The fairy engineer politely declined, putting on her glasses with tiny retinal projectors. While her microcomputer loaded, she added,
Fresh air flight! That's what I need right now.
Fresh air flight? In a technical sector?
The fluffy nurse murmured quietly, watching both fairies leave. The friends emerged onto the round landing platform and took flight into the bright, light caramel-coloured sky. Eira plotted a route, and a semi-transparent dotted line began dancing before her, stretching into the distance.
Pass my syntax! They're back!
Vectra exclaimed, slowing slightly. Her companion quickly veered right to avoid collision. On the Daredevil's internal screen flashed surveillance camera feeds. Robotic mice methodically measured everything around them with laser rangefinders and erected scaffolding.
Team, attack!
Vectra commanded, displaying her faithful bee's live feed.
Watch where you're flying!
Eira shouted, her voice transmitted by radio, audible despite the wind. The prankster manoeuvred just in time, barely missing 2 chatting organic fairies flying leisurely toward them.
Sorry!
She called back briefly, then immediately returned to defense.
Ha! Good girl, Buzzy! More oil on their scaffolding! Let them slip! Get more from storage! Stripey, release some steam! Open that valve! Take that, you whiskered bandits! Oh, wait!
She sharply returned to the recommended trajectory, barely avoiding a building spire.
Honeycomb spotlights! Brighter, brighter! Shine right in their snouts! Waxy! Ultrasound at maximum!
The warrior fairy barked orders cheerfully, not noticing she was flying in a transport corridor.
Take that, you fuzzy circuits!
Look out!
Eira grabbed Vectra's hand mid-flight and yanked her aside. A heavy drone loaded with steel beams roared past, its 6 propellers shrieking. Its proximity sensors saved the day.
You'll kill us both! Engage autopilot!
The The tinker roared.
But that's slower.
Just follow me, on autopilot.
The mischief maker reluctantly activated the automation. Her body immediately straightened, and for the first time all day, Vectra flew calmly without breaking the city's flight regulations, while continuing to give new orders to her bees. Soon they left Solaris's upper tiers behind, the tall white towers in futuristic Art Nouveau style, with small parks and scattered waterfalls, gave way to a huge dark chasm of humming machines and pipelines. Eira and Vectra arrived at their destination, but couldn't immediately spot the club's sign through the thick curtain of steam and blinding flashes. Unbridled chaos reigned. Bees swooped directly past the whiskered builders' snouts, blazing with spotlights and dragging equipment away, making the robotic mice chase them. The rodent crew retaliated with soap and water jets. They quickly dealt with the oil and pushed back the buzzing defenders. In the center of the battlefield stood a larger rodent in a red, hard hat, like a field commander. Beside him sat 2 boxes with yellow labels, charges and detonators. The fluffy foreman noticed the club owner, who was begging Eira to hurry and measure the interference. But how could she measure anything in this circus?
Good afternoon, Vectra.
The fluffy-tailed one addressed her politely.
Please be so kind as to withdraw your bees. They're interfering with our work. To disconnect the transformer and prepare it for safe demolition.
I'll disconnect you with my own hands.
Vectra's voice cracked into a screech.
You and your whole gang of vandals. Just try.
Eira placed a friendly hand on Vectra's shoulder and smiled at the foreman.
Hello there. Oh, I've never seen such a vole. Wow, what a tuft on that tail. New model?
The rodent twitched his whiskers proudly and answered with some satisfaction.
Actually, I'm a gerbil. Semi-series. I function as a foreman, civil engineer, and demolition expert.
Eira glanced at the ominous cylinders in the open box.
Why do you need thermite charges? What's wrong with good old-fashioned ammonium nitrate and shaped charges?
Yes, usually that's faster.
Samir perked up.
But I'm concerned that an explosion might damage the pumping station. So we'll carefully burn through the transformer housing from top to bottom in sections, then dismantle the structure from periphery to centre.
That'll take ages.
Eira tapped the transformer case with her hand. It rang with the deep tone of thick, heavy steel.
Look, hardened steel. 8 millimeters thick.
The club owner suspected something was amiss.
What are you...
The tinker continued knowledgeably.
Your thermite mixture will just flash like a firework. You need coarser aluminium powder, not dust, so it burns slower. I'd recommend medium particle size, around 200 micrometers.
The gerbil blinked in surprise and squeaked to one of his subordinates. The nearest mouse dodged another bee and tested the housing with her teeth, then squeaked back.
Yes, you're absolutely right. We'll take these charges back to the warehouse and return with different ones. Thank you for the help, Miss.
Eira, happy to help.
The mice quickly gathered their equipment, loaded it onto carts and departed. Vectra watched open-mouthed, then grabbed Eira's hand and bellowed.
You help them!
The tinker matter-of-factly pulled out a scanner with a long antenna and began taking readings. She shared her virtual space with Vectra.
While they're getting new charges, I'll have time to measure everything.
Right! Clever you, properly fooled them.
Actually, no.
Eira noted dryly.
I simply gave technical advice. But we bought time. Now quiet. I'm collecting data.
She methodically flew and walked around the transformers. Augmented reality showed which areas were scanned and which still needed work. Vectra followed like a shadow. Finally done, the engineer landed at the club entrance and said thoughtfully,
Curious. Very much so.
What? What exactly?
Vectra buzzed around impatiently.
Aha! Just as I thought, 7.5 meters away and the interference becomes negligible. Nobody lives around here. Just the pump block, cable boxes, pipes. Only your clients could complain about poor reception, but the club is internally shielded, and you configured the network yourself, correct?
Vectra nodded.
That leaves only the repair mice and bees. They automatically report every poor signal location in the city. Basically, I see no sense in demolishing perhaps old but fully functional transformers. I'll write a counter-proposal now.
Eira put away her antenna and hid the scanner in her pocket. Then she called up a text editor and began typing. AI helpfully suggested drafts, built graphs and formatted the freshly collected data. The tinker reluctantly accepted successful variants. She preferred doing everything herself but didn't want to waste time.
Done! External shielding and relay stations. A day's work at most. That would cost about 500 enegos. Nothing compared to demolition and installation. That's 10,000 or more.
She snapped her fingers. The file turned into an envelope and flew off. The Arbitrator responded instantly.
Counter-proposal approved. Eira and Vectra, thank you for helping improve the 6th Technical Sector's infrastructure. The implementation will begin tomorrow afternoon.
That's simple.
Vectra narrowed her eyes.
No nitpicking, no bureaucracy.
Before she could continue, she received 2 calls.
Vectra,
Celestia addressed her with a guilty expression.
we must confess. The Arbitrator asked us to play along.
Lumi finished, looking down shamefully.
He wanted to teach you a lesson.
A lesson?
The restless fairy whispered, then exploded.
You both knew this was all pretend, but said nothing.
Sorry.
Celestia lowered her eyes.
He said it was important for you to understand how the public proposal system works and how vital it is.
I spent all day flying around the city.
Vectra angrily flicked her orange wings.
I thought the AI had lost it and my home would be demolished.
Eira cleared her throat theatrically to lighten the mood.
Ah, and I thought for once an organic fairy had outsmarted a robotic one.
She winked at Lumi, who replied sincerely.
You're brilliant. You immediately thought about usefulness, not technical details.
Then a third call came through. The user's portrait showed the gleaming scales emblem.
I should clarify. This lesson wasn't just for Vectra. 327 fairies voted for this proposal. Apparently, without thinking, only 24 began asking questions. And just 5 of them considered who the transformer demolition would help and who it would harm.
So you created a fake proposal.
Vectra snorted.
The proposal was real. Mechanical mice and bees automatically report connectivity problems. I simply selected a location and proposed an unreasonable, wasteful solution to an essentially non-existent problem. It required just a little attention to spot the error.
And what was the point of this torture?
The club owner grumbled.
It's an important lesson. The moral is simple. Even one fairy can overturn an unreasonable decision supported by thousands. We have intellectocracy, not the primitive democracy of millennia past where numbers alone decided everything. I understand you were deeply worried, and I apologize for the distress.
Couldn't you have just explained everything?
The troublemaker asked more calmly.
Would you have paid attention to a lecture on basic governmental structure?
The artificial intelligence asked sincerely.
You know what, you digital autocrat?
Vectra was about to deliver another barb when a better thought occurred.
You really did teach me a good lesson. But you can't celebrate victory. And I can!
She finished with a playful smile.
Eira, I'll treat you to something delicious. And you 2 scoundrels, get over here.
I have 2 more clients today.
Celestia replied good-naturedly.
Cancel and come over.
Vectra commanded without malice.
Today we're celebrating.
Within an hour, live music again echoed through the club, and old-fashioned screens glowed with multicoloured Election Day congratulations. The bees, delighted by their victory over the city mice, served snacks and drinks with doubled enthusiasm.
And suddenly...
Vectra exclaimed dramatically, holding a purple tritium cocktail.
The city management system short-circuited the regeneration pod to dissolve Eira in acid. But I smashed through the glass and saved the fragile organic fairy. Then we broke out the window and raced here.
Newcomers listened open-mouthed while regulars smiled lazily.
My regeneration went as usual.
Eira whispered.
We barely dodged a combat interceptor.
Next time, follow proper altitude separation.
Then we saw it. A whole army advancing on the club. Steel rats. Armed to the teeth with laser cutters.
Rangefinders. Army! A dozen mice and a gerbil.
Why do you keep spoiling it?
Vectra pretended to pout.
You know, I actually enjoy how Vectra tells stories.
Celestia chimed in.
Few have such imagination. Almost a shame it didn't really happen that way. So what then?
Oh, then Eira launched a devastating cyber attack.
Vectra continued improvising as she went. Guests laughed and feasted. After a while, Lumi pulled Vectra aside.
Please forgive me, I should have warned you.
Oh, forget it!
The mischief maker waved her hand.
Let's say an evil digital demon cast a spell on you. Besides, if you'd warned me, the lesson wouldn't have stuck.
So you're not angry?
Lumi's silver eyes showed genuine concern.
I am.
Vectra grumbled, then continued with a smile.
But I really did go too far. Shouldn't have pestered the Arbitrator and his buddies. This isn't my first time proposing nonsense.
Oh, tell us about it.
Why not? Hey everyone, our governmental AI doesn't understand humour, but you will.
The fairies gathered around again. The celebration was a great success. But soon night fell, and friends began gradually departing. Finally, Vectra left the bees to watch the club and returned to her room, where years of treasures and souvenirs warranted their own story. She settled comfortably into her service station. Familiar diagnostic lines scrolled across her internal screen. But before entering sleep mode and relaxing while her neural networks consolidated short-term data into indexed long-term memories, Vectra needed to speak with someone.
Arbitrator, Guardian, Liberator. Are you there?
She asked quietly.
At your service, Vectra.
The three emblems immediately responded.
I want to ask something. No jokes.
She said, then after slight hesitation, posed her question.
Maybe life in Solaris would be better without my club. And without me?
The governmental AI didn't answer immediately, as if considering what to say.
In the past 6 months, you've saved 17 fairies from severe depression. They refused medical help, but found solace with you. As far as I know, they're no longer at risk.
The Guardian stated in an almost friendly tone.
Your example inspires others to think freely, question rules, try new things. Society without fairies like Vectra is doomed to stagnation.
The Liberator added.
We can debate how safe your methods are, but thanks to your bold experiments, we've learned more about consciousness mysteries. Therefore, you bring considerable benefit, and life in Solaris would be somewhat worse without you.
The Arbitrator noted. Warmth spread through Vectra's photonic processors. The governmental AI rarely praised her.
Well, if that's the case, could you lift my remaining sanctions?
She asked hopefully. The Guardian replied sternly.
No, not while your club has that Pripets and Nose room open. Such services don't contribute to society's intellectual development.
Oh, what do you know? It's not just pleasure, it's art. Imagine the music of passion between 2 newing or 3 prippeting fairies. Each note, each chord brings participants closer to blissful heights. And when...
Thank you. Spare us the details. For now, partial sanctions remain. Better evaluate my actions today.
Vectra was taken aback.
You want an honest assessment?
Completely honest.
The Liberator confirmed.
Even if you're extremely dissatisfied with the system's performance. Otherwise, nothing improves.
I was really frightened.
The prankster admitted reluctantly.
And honestly, I'm still a bit miffed. But you're right. I wouldn't have listened to a lecture about civic responsibility. But now I know how the system works and what to do if something goes wrong. So, you did the right thing.
Thank you. My task isn't to control, but to help fairies realise their...
Hey, Arbitrator!
Vectra interrupted with a mischievous smile.
Can I test your moral values? Imagine, a drone taxi's flying. Suddenly, it breaks down. What should the autopilot do? Not interfere and hit 2 organic fairies? Or swerve and smash 5 robotic ones?
This is the classic trolley problem. According to utilitarian ethics...
Wait, 1 organic fairy's a vicious criminal and the second will be her victim in 5 minutes.
Additional conditions don't change the opposition between deontology and...
The 2 robotic fairies were cybernetic yesterday and organic before that, plus they're surrounded by a whole swarm of mechanical bees. They're non-sentient, but their memory contains a priceless one-of-a-kind symphony.
Vectra.
Just a moment, and the organic fairy, though criminal, decided to kill the second because she's secretly working on a virus that will reprogram robotic mice throughout the city. They'll start gnawing wires while writing poetry, albeit not very good.
Vectra.
What?
This moral dilemma has only one correct ethical solution.
Ooh, which one?
To wish you good night.
The prankster laughed heartily.
Good night to you too, calculator of the imperative mood.
The emblems vanished. Vectra closed her eyes and relaxed. But before entering sleep mode, a pleasant thought crossed her mind. How wonderful it was to live under an intellectocracy, protected, not ruled, by an impartial, incorruptible, wise machine that did everything to keep fairies safe and comfortable, encouraging them to pursue knowledge and creativity, and most importantly, not to fear taking responsibility and fighting for what they held dear.